Welcome and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Nakakatuwa pong makita kayong lahat kahit hindi man face-to-face ngayon. So, my name is Natalie and today we will be talking about the Tampakan Open Pit Mining Project and the situation of the indigenous people. We started this program because the homes, the livelihoods, and the resources that we should be protecting are all in danger because of this open pit mining project. Open pit mining is a surface mining technique that extracts minerals from an open pit in the ground. Ito yung surface technique na when mineral or ore deposits are usually closely relatively found malapit sa surface ng earth. This project will destroy 7,000 hectares of closed canopy forest in Bulol Lumot, a farmland watershed in South Cotabato. And this will poison the water of 33 hectares of rice fields in Coronadal Valley, disrupting the livelihoods of at least 7,420 farmers in Davao del Sur who depend on irrigated farmlands. Kaya kami naririto to hopefully bring awareness and put a stop to this project, as well as to celebrate the International Day of Indigenous People. Okay. Now, let us all call on Miss Dinah Faye Baleco, one of our Kinaiyahan members and convener, graduate of UP Diliman Magna Cum Laude, to give us the opening remarks.
Isang malugod na pagtanggap sa ating lahat sa diskusyong ito na pinamagatang Giugkat, a discussion on the Tampakan Open Pit Mining Project and the situation of indigenous peoples. Isang pagkakataon na naman ang ibinigay sa atin upang matuto tungkol sa kasalukuyang kondisyon ng ating kalikasan at ng mga sektor na tunay na apektado sa patuloy na paninira nito sa ngalan ng tinatawag na pag-unlad. Ang Tampakan Mining Project ay isa sa mga kontrobersyal na kasunduan na kailangang bigyan ng atensyon sapagkat meron itong epekto sa mga komunidad at kulturang nakapalibot dito. Kaya naman ang Youth for Climate Justice in Mindanao ay nakikiisa sa patuloy na pagmamatiyag at pagkatuto tungkol sa mga partikular na epekto nito sa mga lumad at kabataan.
Miss Bernardine de Belen, she graduated from Ateneo de Manila University in 2022, majoring in BFA Creative Writing. She is currently working as a research assistant for Klima in the Manila Observatory. She is also one of the lead conveners of the Kinaiyahan.
Hello, I have been tasked to discuss a hopefully briefer version of Kinaiyahan's orientation paper, aka the driving force behind the organization. Let me try to share this in a concise manner. Every day, we see how climate change affects us on a global scale. The sea levels are rising, the typhoons are becoming more severe, and global warming continues. Everyone is impacted by climate change. However, we are not all equally affected. Developing countries are suffering immensely due to both geographical location as well as the lack of financial capacity to adapt, minimize, and respond to the impacts. The Philippines has been suffering the consequences for years now. As a country that already faces around 16 typhoons a year, to have typhoons be more intense in the past years is difficult to manage. The impacts brought by climate change have destroyed many homes, livelihoods, and cultures, one of the most affected in the Philippines being the island of Mindanao. Now, why an affinity for Mindanao? Mindanao is known as the Philippines' last frontier due to its vast natural resources. It hosts the country's last remaining old-growth forests. The island is home to half of the country's estimated mineral wealth. It is also the source of major agricultural resources in the Philippines. The island is also surrounded by bodies of water with a rich variety of marine resources. Because of its richness, Mindanao is targeted by development aggression of large-scale transnational and multinational corporations. This has caused significant environmental destruction, some in identified key biodiversity areas. As one of the last frontiers of the country, it is imperative for us to give due attention to forwarding climate justice in the Philippines, specifically in Mindanao, in the global fight against climate change. Now, what is the Kinaiyahan? The Kinaiyahan is an organization of youth advocates forwarding climate justice in Mindanao. It aims to forward awareness on climate and environmental issues and their effects on basic sectors like indigenous peoples, peasants, and other marginalized groups in the country, especially in Mindanao. It aims to support youth-led initiatives to respond to the climate and environmental struggle. It aims to extend help to other climate and environmental advocates and organizations to strengthen the climate justice movement in the country. The said situation in Mindanao, its vulnerability, provides the urgency of building a network that will focus on the environmental concerns affecting its people. While there are numerous organizations in the country forwarding climate justice, specific focus in Mindanao is not yet established. Therefore, the Kinaiyahan seeks to fill this gap.
Thank you po. Okay, so for our first guest speaker, Father Jerome Millian, a distinguished priest in the Diocese of Marble for being a staunch advocate for the protection of environment and the integrity of God's creation. He's the incumbent director of the Social Action Center of the Diocese of Marble. Without further ado, let us give the floor to Father Jerome Millian to give us his input of the Tampakan Open Pit Mining Project and the situation of indigenous people.
Allow me to start with you to share with you these pictures. Ito po yung naganap noong June. Isa pong malaking pagkilos, pagsama-sama, hindi lang po ng iilang mga sektor but karamihan sa mga klase-klaseng mga tao sa buong lalawigan ng South Cotabato at karatig ng mga probinsya para sa pagpapakita at pagpapahayag ng kanilang suporta para maproteksyonan po ang inang kalikasan o ang environment ang kinaiyahan ng South Cotabato at ng iba pang lalawigan. Ang project po ay nasasakop po siya sa 4 na probinsya. Sa this side ay sa Sultan Kudarat, the other side ay sa Davao del Sur, dito naman sa baba ay Sarangani Province, at dito naman ay yung South Cotabato. Kung makikita niyo itong nakapula nito, ito po yung mining site. Okay? So ito po, mas marami natawag siyang Tampakan dahil mas malaki sa area niya ay sakop po ng Tampakan at ang Tampakan po ay sakop ng South Cotabato. So some data para mas mabigyang linaw, ang project po, ang tawag ng project ay Tampakan Copper Gold Project. Tapos ang pangalan po ng kumpanya ngayon ay Sagittarius Mines Incorporated, but it started with the Western Mining Corporation, napalitan po ng Indopil, and then palitan din ng Xstrata, and then last ang Glencore, saka po pumasok ang SMI. Ang commodity po na makikita natin dito ay ang copper at saka gold. Sabi po, ito po ang pinaka-largest undeveloped copper and gold deposit in the world, covering approximately 9,600 hectares proposed mine area with an approved tenement area of 28,000 hectares. Ito pong 28 hectares, ito po ang napaloob sa FTAA. Pero decided na po ang mine area na gagamitin ng nila ay more or less 10,000 hectares. So sabi, ang copper, ang makukuha po nila ng copper average po ng 15 million tons. Ang gold ay 498.85 million grams. And the cost of the project is $5 billion. So ang open pit area, mayroon pong 500 hectares. Ang i-open pit nila, ang kalalimin po, ang depth ng open pit ay 800 meters pababa. Ito pong 500 hectares, kung hindi natin may imagine yung 500 hectares, isipin na lang po natin yung 5 kilometers. Ganong kalayo siya, 5 kilometers. Then mayroon siyang waste rock storage facilities na another 500 hectares. At dito po ay Ang kalalimin niya ay 300 meters. Seepage collection dam, 30 hectares sa north, and then 100 hectares sa east. Sa tailing storage, may 1,000 hectares. And then, ito po, sinasabi po dito na may 1.35 billion tons. Ito po ay sinasabi na ito pong ma-perform or nalalagay na mga o ilalagay po dito ay mga possible po siya na acid form alkaline sulfite leach na 3.2 metric tons, arsenic. And then of course ito yung controversial na acid mine drainage na this will last to 2,500 up to 10,000 years. Nai-imagine na natin, no? Kung ano katagal maalis, mawala o malinis ang sinasabi natin na acid na makukuha dito sa open pit mining ng Tampakan. Ito po, just to show you, ito po yung mga naka-blue, Dalo River, Mal River, ito po yung mga headwaters. Ibig sabihin, source po ito ng mga waters, ng mga river. So na within the area. Ito pong nakapula, ito po yung mining site. Pero kung mag-full operation ito, malaki pong epekto dito sa mga headwaters na ito. Itong mga rivers na ito. Na ultimately, bababa siya dito sa Lake Buluan and then pupunta din siya sa Ligwasan Mars at doon po sa Cotabato area. So, klaro po na isa sa dapat tingnan natin na this is just about the issue of South Cotabato, as I mentioned kanina. This will cover every sa mga lugar po ng Mindanao. Malaki po. Nag-play po ng vital role ang Tampakan sa buong tawag natin, buong Mindanao po. At of course sa Pilipinas. Pero kung titingnan at uugat din talaga natin itong benepisyo na ito, nung sinasabi nila na maganda ang SMI, magaling ang SMI, mabait ang SMI, dahil po sa kanyang ino-offer, marami po siyang mga livelihood program, marami po siyang scholarship at pagpapatay ng school and lahat ng mga daan inaayos, ay sa tingin namin hindi siya dapat trabaho ni SMI, kundi trabaho siya ng government. Nakita po natin dito na nagiging hostage po sila doon sa tinatawag na development and services na supposedly sa gobyerno. Primarily the task of the government. But the government failed to deliver that. Hindi po naibigay sa kanila. And here comes si SMI na binigay po ito sa kanila lahat. Ang di lang po alam ng mga katutubo na itong mga lahat ng binigay, ikabahagi po ito doon sa kanilang obligasyon. No? They're not doing this para po talagang gusto nilang ibigay, but it's a requirement for them. Nagawin po nila itong community development and social development po at services. So yun pong malungkot po dito. Ginamit po yung kahirapan, ginamit po yung failure na services. The government failed to deliver the services.
An eye-opener to hear about the issues the project will bring to the families and the indigenous people. For our next speaker, he is an experienced litigator and a longtime lawyer for agrarian reform beneficiaries. He graduated from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, with a degree in Library and Information Sciences and subsequently from the College of Law of San Sebastian College. He currently teaches at the San Sebastian Law School where he also served as Associate Dean. Ibigay na po natin ang lapag kay Attorney Pioro upang mapag-usapan natin kung ano ang mga polisiya sa pagmimina at paano nito naapektuhan ng Tampakan indirectly sa mga legal na aspeto. Let us all welcome
Cotabato Environmental Code. No, kung saan nagkaroon ng specific provision na pinagbabawal ang open pit mining sa probinsya ng South Cotabato. No. Yan ay mga existing na mga ordinansa. Maganda ring tignan, maliban sa batas, ay yung tinatawag nating environmental right. Meron ka bang karapatang pangkalikasan? Laging tatandaan na kung mayroong karapatan, ang katapat niya na isang obligasyon sa Estado, no, na respetuhin yung karapatan na yun. At ang environmental right, marami siyang basihan. No? Ang pinanggagalingan ay yung Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of an individual and his family. No? Yung Stockholm Declaration din, sinabi na ang bawat sovereign, bawat estado, meron silang right, may karapatan sila na i-exploit yung kanilang mga resources. But no, at the same time, meron silang responsibilidad na alagaan yun or i-control na wag mag-cause ng sobrang damage sa environment. No? Yan yung nasa Stockholm Declaration. Sa ating konstitusyon, maliban dun sa nabanggit kanina na National Economy and Patrimony, may mga specific sections na nare-recognize yung karapatan ninyo, no, sa environment. Ang magandang tingnan ay yung Section 16 ng Article 2 na sinasabi na meron tayong the right to a balanced and healthful ecology in accord with the rhythm of the nature. No? Maganda pag Filipino wordings eh. Karapatan ng sambayanan sa timbang at kanais-nais na ecology nang nanaayon sa aluy-uy at tugma ng kalikasan. Mahaba ang usapin tungkol sa environmental right, pero siguro pipili lang tayo ng mga ilang fundamental principles na laging yung sanang madala. No? Ang una dyan ay yung precautionary principle, susunod ay yung polluter pays principle, next ay yung principle of intergenerational equity at yung sustainable development. Lahat ng tungkol sa environmental law, sumasang-ayon dito sa mga prinsipyo na to, no? Among others. Maraming issues na niraise dito sa Tampakan Golden Mining Project, no? Dati pa ito. Yung social and cultural issues, lumalala yung division among destruction of rich biodiversity, contamination ng water, potential tragedy in case of strong earthquake, no? Marami pang ibang environmental concerns na pwedeng erase. No? Sa legal issues naman, no, meron pa rin kasing kasalukuyang prohibition sa South Cotabato Environmental Code regarding open pit mining. So, kung yan ay nakalagay dyan, dapat hindi mag-ooperate pa rin ang any mining companies na gumagamit ng open pit mining method. May tinatawag din na writ of kalikasan. Ito isang special remedy kung saan ang isang partido, private, NGO, no, ay maaari magsabi na nababiolate na yung aming right to a balanced and healthful ecology, no? Natitreaten na ito dahil sa unlawful act ng isang government official, private entities, no? At ang environmental damage is sobrang lala. Makakaapekto sa 2 probinsya or 2 syudad. Yung Tampakan Mining Project, no, tulad na nabanggit ni Father Jerome kanina, nasa boundary ng 4 na probinsya. Ang writ of continuing mandamus, ang keyword dyan ay mandamus or to mandate. Ito ay isang special remedy kung saan ang naapektuhan ay mga public officers. Sinasabi ng isang tao na either unlawfully neglects yung official na yan, kunwari si DNR Secretary or DNR Regional Director, he or she unlawfully neglects his or her duty to protect the environment, or that office unlawfully excludes my right, no, to a balanced and healthful ecology. At dahil dyan, gusto ko yung korte mag-issue ng court na pinipilit siya na gawin yung kanyang mandato. No? Yun yung mandamus. And you want it continuous. Hanggang hindi nagagawa, ay hindi pa rin titigil yung order. No? Ang magandang halimbawa dito ay yung case ng MMDA versus Concerned Citizens of Manila Bay. Nagdemanda yung mga concerned citizens, residents of Manila Bay, sabi nila dapat yung DNR, DA, MMDA, PNP, Coast Guard, magsama-sama at gawin nila yung mandato nila na protektahan yung Manila Bay at ibalik sa kanyang dating estado. Yung Dolomite Beach, kasama dyan sa writ of continuing mandamus ng MMDA versus concerned residents of Manila Bay. Sabi ng DNR, kasama kasi yun doon sa nailatag na plano ng pagpapaganda at pagpapabalik doon sa dating ganda ng Manila Bay. Isa pang remedyo ay yung mag-request tayo ng Environmental Protection Order under the Rules of Procedure Environmental Cases. Pwede rin magkaroon ng preliminary injunctions. Yung isang kautusan na pinagbabawal ng isang ahensya o isang partido sa kanyang ginagawa na pwedeng makaapekto sa ating environment. Yan ang mga remedies. Ano ang challenges? Marami rin, no? Marami. Ang unang-una dyan ay yung access to remedies. Minsan nga, hindi pa alam kung ano yung mga possible remedies, legal remedies na gawin. At pangalawa, madugo, magastos ang legal remedies, no? Minsan, may kakulangan din ng mga abogado. Ang lumala, later on naman, sumunod ay yung culture of impunity, no? Maraming mga environmental cases na talagang hindi napaparusahan yung mga may sala. May kabagalan din ang ating justice system. No? So, kung mabagal siya, mabilis naman ang mga proyekto na nakakasira ng kalikasan. Ang ating mga korte rin, no, clog na yung dockets nila, ibig sabihin sobrang daming kasong kanilang hinahawakan na nakakaapekto dun sa mas mabagal nating justice system. Minsan yung SLAP ay mahirap gamitin, no? Mahirap gamitin yung strategic lawsuit against public participation. At yung isang nakita namin ay yung may mga court rulings na pinapahina yung local autonomy, no? Or yung IP rights. Noong nakaraang taon, may isang decision ng Court of Appeals ang sinasabi na yung ban on open pit mining south of Cotabato ay valid. Pero siya daw ay applicable lamang sa small scale mining. So medyo yun ay nagpapahina doon sa local autonomy at lalo na doon sa mining policy natin na dapat ay nagpoprotektan ng environment. No? So ito ang mga mining laws natin at yung possible effects niya sa Tampakan Mining Project and the possible remedies na pwede rin natin gawin.
Wow, thank you po. Daghang salamat po, Attorney Pioro, para sa napaka-insightful at napaka-educational na pagtanaw sa Tampakan. Salamat po ulit sa pagturo tungkol po sa mga batas at sa mga karapatang pantao at ng mga katutubo po. Kailangan nating tandaan na karapatan nating lumaban sa paninira ng ibang tao sa kalikasan. Naman po tayo ngayon sa ating reactor. Si Miss Patricia, she is an incoming third-year nursing student from the University of San Carlos with the determination and passion to embrace the call in serving the people and forwarding calls for climate justice. She is also the regional coordinator for Youth Advocates for Climate Action's webinar. We hope na marami tayong natutuhan mula sa makulay na talakayan. To wrap up, let's hear from one of our kinaiyahan conveners. We give the floor to Mr. Adrian Gatus for the closing remarks.
One of our steps toward many significant steps in seeking for climate justice, to spread the word to make impactful and sustainable changes for our country and for the world. The indigenous people is in need of our help. We are aware of how dangerous the Tampakan open pit mining to our environment and to our indigenous people. This affects their life and livelihood. The message is clear. We can help our indigenous people and our environment by having knowledge in their plight, and as an advocate, there are numerous ways in combating these environmental issues. And one of those is for us to spread the word and live what we have learned this afternoon. To end today's event, we would like to thank our speakers, Father Jerome and Attorney Rolly, our actor, Mom Patricia Gabizay, and our participants in joining us this afternoon. I know that we still have numerous battles to fight for our environment, and this webinar can help us in making those battles easier for all of us. The hope is still in our hands. Carry the torch, serve our people. Thank you and a blessed day to everyone.